Hey, welcome LinkedIn community. I am jumping on 5 minutes late. I apologize. It has just been that kind of day. I'm excited. We are going to cover the 5 content categories, the 5 content trends you need to be leveraging this year if you want to have success with content, especially on a platform like LinkedIn. What I'm going to be talking about today is the kind of content we're creating at Complete Game Consulting to help us have a lot of success with social media. I'm going to talk about why you need to be creating content. So before I dive into the trends, I am going to set the stage for why you need to be doing this in the first place. I think a lot of people struggle with that. They're not quite sure if content is the place they need to go, but I want to help you get clarity on that because I'm here to tell you it is. In my personal opinion, content today is oxygen for your business. Just like oxygen is for you when it comes to breathing and staying alive, content is oxygen for your business. If you're not creating content, your business is slowly dying. And so we're going to talk about content today and how you can become more effective with this. Now, I'll be very honest with you. Some of the content trends I am sharing today, I did not come up with. It came up in our research. It came up in some of the marketing influencers we follow, YouTube channels we follow. So I just want to distribute some knowledge to you today, distribute some information that I have gathered that I think is going to be very, very helpful for you today. If I'm fumbling my words, I've done a lot of speaking today already, so I apologize, but we're going to have some fun with this because I think this is going to be extremely helpful. Now, if you are watching live or you're watching the recording of this, if you stick around to the end, I do have a really cool offering for you if you want to take us up on it. So please stick around for that. What do I have designated for time? I have this to go for a full hour. We probably will not go the full hour, but I'm going to cover a lot of things here when it comes to content. So let's set the stage. 5 content trends you need to be leveraging here in 2023 if you want to go grow your business. Let's start with why you need to create content in the first place. I was working with a client a few weeks back, and he and his team had gone through some sales training with another outside party. And the module that they had just covered talked about cold calling. And if you follow my content, you know I talk about cold calling quite often. And on a particular slide, it talked about the fact that today, it takes 18 phone calls to reach one prospect on average. So I want you to let those numbers sink in. 18 phone calls to reach one prospect. Now, the downside to that statistic is the way most in the insurance industry read that is, well, then we just need to make more phone calls. When the reality is you should be taking that statistic to say you need to be doing other things. Because if you do the math, if it takes 18 phone calls to reach one prospect, it takes 180 phone calls to reach 10. And if you are a speed dialer and you can make one call, leave a voice message every minute on the minute, it's going to take 180 minutes to reach 10 people, 3 hours to reach 10 people. Think about that. So that statistic should tell you, what else can we be doing to get in front and stay in front of our prospects? The answer for most advisors is nothing. And there's nothing more that saddens me when I see an advisor who's struggling. And because he or she lacks a plan, they just continue to do more of what's not working because that's all they know. And I want to help you fix that today. If you are an advisor going, okay, I will admit it, opening doors has been a little more of a challenge today than it was maybe 2-3 years ago, maybe before the pandemic. I'm here to help. That's what today is about. I'm going to share some trends you need to be thinking about if you want to create effective content that draws prospects into you. Now, I want to share another very important note about what I'm about to teach and share today. This is not an overnight win hack. This is not a silver bullet to anything you're doing today. Nothing we teach creates a win tomorrow. I know that sucks to hear, but what I want to help you create is a process that's going to create leads for the long run. Anybody can get hot for a month. Anybody can have more leads than they've ever had come in for a few weeks. But my question is, what are you doing to create a system to bring leads in month after month after month and eventually year after year after year? That's what this is all about. If you are not a level 10 committed to put in the work to doing this, I'd tell you to step away from the live right now. This isn't worth your time. If you're in search of the quick win because you've got to validate by June 1, go make some phone calls. Don't sit on this live, because I'm going to teach you a system. I'm going to teach you some trends and the system that can accompany it so you can create long-term success, not short-term wins. Now, let me share my story for those who don't know me. My name is Andy Neary. I am the founder and owner of Complete Game Consulting. I was also a health insurance commercial advisor for 22 years. I started out as a commercial insurance advisor with Federated Insurance. If you're familiar with it, with some of the best training in the industry. And I was taught how to go market myself by picking up the phone and parking my car in industrial parks and going door to door. And I'd drop off marketing slicks, one business after another. And that's all I did every day, all day. Then I got into the benefit space, and that's where I've really been ever since. And I saw a problem about 4 to 5 years ago. You see, when I moved to Colorado in 2014 and I went to work for an independent agency, I found myself in a market where nobody knew who I was. And I knew at that point, the way I was taught wasn't going to be very effective, which was phone calls, pounding the pavement, phone calls, pounding the pavement. Because I'm now in a market, nobody knows who I am. I have no Rolodex here. So I had to build a marketing plan. I had to try something different. And what became my secret sauce was creating exponential awareness. How am I going to get one message in front of a lot of people at one time? And content is one of the best forms of creating exponential awareness. If you think about the concept of just creating content on LinkedIn, if you create a good piece of content, one piece of content can get hundreds, if not thousands, maybe tens of thousands of eyeballs on it. You can't do that anywhere else. Now, I will say what I said earlier. It's not going to create a win tomorrow. One post is not going to get a prospect to reach out to you and say, we want to give you our business. The point is, you need to create a ton of name recognition today, brand recognition. And that's what content does. Prospects can't buy what they can't see. And if they're not seeing you right now, if they're not seeing your content, it is going to be very hard for your prospects to do business with you. Now, truth be told, I was just having this conversation with two advisors earlier today. Content isn't only for people who are extroverts. Content isn't only for people who are great on camera, great on video. Content can work for anybody if you know how to do it, if you know what you should be talking about. Truth be told, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. I don't like crowds. I don't like the attention. I don't like the spotlight, but I know I have to do it if my business is going to grow. Every time I take the stage, I get in my zone for 1 hour. The second that talk is done, I'm off stage connecting with a few people, but I will be honest. I would rather be alone in my hotel room than networking with hundreds of people. That's just who I am. I'm an introvert. So if you're an introvert out there, I want to tell you, there's hope. You can create content. You need to be creating content. Because remember, it's oxygen for your business. So let's talk about the trends. What are some of the trends you should be looking for when it comes to creating content? What should you focus on when it comes to your strategy this year to get one message in front of as many people as you possibly can at one time? The first question I want to pose is, how are you going to create the content? So when you think about content, there's the how, the what, and the where. The how is what are you going to create? Are you going to create videos? Are you going to create articles? Are you going to do a podcast? How are you going to create content? Are you going to use pictures? There's no wrong answer. You just have to remember, some people like to watch videos, some people like to look at pictures, some people like to read articles, and some people love to listen to podcasts. So when you think of the how of content, you just have to pick a channel. Now, eventually you may be doing all of them and leveraging all of them. That's great. But for now, pick the one that feels the best for you. So that's the how. The what is, what are you going to say? What are you going to say in the content? Whether it's an article, a video, a picture, or a podcast. And then the third part of that equation is where. Where are you going to put that content? Are you going to put it on LinkedIn? Are you going to put it in an email? Are you going to put it on your website, on a YouTube channel, in a podcast, on a speaking stage, on a webinar, whatever? Where are you going to put that content? Because all of those channels I just mentioned are channels you can use to grab exponential awareness. Not to mention, creating exponential awareness is really good for time management. You got to figure out how to create maximum output in the minimum number of hours. Spending 3 hours to reach 10 people by phone is no longer a good use of your time. Sorry for those who are buying into cold calling. It's just not. So you've got to create maximum output in the minimum number of hours, because your time, my time, your prospect's time is extremely valuable. So let's dive into trends. Now that you know how to create it, what you should be saying, and know that where you should be saying it are important, let's talk about the trends for this year. Number one, video is still king. I grabbed this little nugget directly from one of the YouTube channels I follow, and this was one of their big topics for 2023. Video is still king. I just told you the how, right? Video, articles, podcasts, pictures. There isn't a wrong answer. However, video is still king. Why? Because video gives your prospect the greatest opportunity to get to know you and learn from you at the same time. There is no other marketing medium that lets people accomplish both as quickly as a video. Now, if you are absolutely deathly afraid of a video, you're afraid of hitting the play button, I'm going to challenge you either to get better and put the reps in, or just avoid it and do one of the other channels. But I am going to tell you, video is still king. If there's one medium of content that has grown our business the fastest, it is our video content. Because there is a concept in marketing, concept that I coined, I think, I'm not sure. And that is, you need to create likability and credibility with your content. And you cannot have one without the other. Because if you just create likability without any credibility, you fall into the friend zone. It's where I was the first 10 years of my career. All my prospects liked me. They take meetings with me, but they would never take me seriously enough to hire me. If you just focus on credibility and no likability, I know you're smart, I'm learning from you, but I don't know who you are. I don't even know if I like you. Not going to hire you. You got to have both likability and credibility. And a video gives you the greatest chance, the quickest opportunity to create that likability and credibility. So that is trend number one. Video is still king. So I'm going to challenge you to start thinking about how you can incorporate video into your prospecting strategy if you are not today. Another statistic I just heard at one of my own workshops I was a part of was 80% of the time we're on our phones. Check this out. 80% of the time we're on our phones, we're watching some form of short form video. Short form defined by any video 3 minutes or less. Think about that. 80% of the time, people are on their phones watching videos. So what are you doing to incorporate video into your strategy? Nick Leese, you asked the question, do you have a recommendation for a basic package needed to get started with video? When you say basic package, I'm not quite sure what you mean, but what I'm going to tell you to do, my friend, to get started, use this right here. It's one of the greatest cameras, recording cameras we have today. These iPhones, or if you have a Google phone or Android, they have some of the best recording capabilities out there. Just hit record on this. If you want to go buy a wireless lavalier you can attach as a microphone, great. but just start recording videos on this phone right here. You don't need anything else. Hit play, talk for 2 minutes, post. Do not overthink it. People just want to hear from you. Truth be told, people don't even want the fancy editing anymore. They just want to see the raw version of you speaking to them. Now, if you choose to do it in landscape, you choose to do it in portrait, I don't think it matters anymore. If you're posting on LinkedIn, I used to tell you, you're going to want to be landscape. But I'm now recognizing LinkedIn is promoting vertical videos. We put a lot of our own vertical clips out there. Just hit record, just hit play, pick a topic, think about what your prospects are wondering about today. What are the questions they're asking? What are the objections, the hesitations they have? Just create content around that because that's what they want to see. That's what they want to hear. Answer their questions. So, trend number 1 for this year with content, video is king. Find a way to incorporate it into your strategy. Trend number 2, be authentic, be real. This is where your personal brand comes in. I've seen a lot of posts lately from some of the industry veterans, I'll call them, that are really sick and tired of seeing the pictures of people walking their dogs and hanging out with other people. This is a platform for business. I hate to tell you, things have adapted and you just haven't adapted with them. LinkedIn is where Facebook was 7-8 years ago. It is just the truth, whether you like it or not. Some of you probably still want it to be the recruiting platform that started out as 20 years ago. Guys, you got to adapt. And if you want to develop a reputation and a relationship with your prospects, you got to be authentic and be real, and content gives you that opportunity to be authentic and be real. Share your struggles, share your vulnerabilities. Let us know what's going on in your life, but just be you. Those pictures you don't like of people walking their dog, the pictures I put out of running sprints up a hill or biking into the mountains, those are the posts that get people to reach out to us. Why? Because now they look at us and they go, that dude's just like me. You got to create relatability with your prospects. Your knowledge only takes you so far. If you are not relatable, they are not going to hire you. Remember what I said, likability, credibility, authentic, and being real creates likability. Now, here's the real truth about this. Prior to the pandemic, if you wanted to build a relationship with your prospects, you would take them out to lunch, you'd buy them dinner, maybe buy them coffee, take them out to play golf, take them to the baseball game. We used to schmooze them, right, to build a relationship. A lot of that changed after the pandemic. We are not connecting with our prospects in person as often as we used to. So we got to figure out a different way to build a relationship. Guess what? I got good news. Your content can actually build a relationship with prospects before they ever meet you. There is not a better comment I receive when I jump on a strategy call with a prospect and they tell me they feel like they already know me and we have never met. You can do the same thing. Anybody can do that. Our clients right now who are winning big with their content are walking into prospecting meetings with prospects who already feel like they know them. You want to talk about having a leg up on the competition? That's how you do it. So you need to be more authentic and more real with your content. And I share this from a very vulnerable place because there was a time when I created mine, I tried to act like other people. I tried to model other people. And I wasn't being myself. I remember about 12 years ago, I was an account exec working for a very, very good consulting firm. And I remember I was told by my boss, Andy, nobody wants to see your energy. You're too energetic when you talk. You're too handsy when you talk. People don't like that. CFOs don't like that. I would literally have to sit at prospect meetings with my hands under the table. He literally made me put my hands under the table so I wouldn't be handsy. Guess what happened? I sat there at the table sounding robotic because you took my greatest asset away from me. I wasn't being me. This is what I'm talking about being authentic and being real. Just let us see the real version of you in your content. Do you have certain beliefs? Are there things you stand for? What do you believe in? This is the content that helps you find your best prospects. This is the year to take a stand. And your content can do it if you're willing to be authentic and real. Trend number 3, create searchable content. What do I mean by that? You need to create content your prospects are looking for. So if you think about the typical buyer's journey, the typical buyer's journey starts here. They're trying to figure out what their problem is. Because truth be told, most of your prospects actually don't know what their problem is. They're watching their insurance rates go up, but they actually don't know why. They don't even know what the problem is. Once they uncover they have a problem, they start exploring other options. Now they start to look at other things. And then eventually they'll settle on one option they really kind of like. So they'll go deep into that option. And then when they realize you're the one who's talking about that specific option, that's when they start evaluating you. Think about that. I need to figure out what my problem is first. Once I know what my problem is, now I'm going to start looking at options. Then there's going to be a specific option I really start attracting to. So I'm going to go deep in that. And if you're the one educating me on that option, now I start evaluating you. Here's the mistake most in the insurance industry make. Instead of trying to help a prospect uncover their problem, you're focused over here talking about either one specific option or trying to tell them why you're so great, why your agency is so great. They don't even know what their problem is. You're trying to tell me all these intricate details about reference-based pricing and PBMs and all the in and outs of PBM. I don't even know why my rates are going up. They can't connect with that. If you want to create content that attracts your prospects, you got to talk about the stuff they're asking. Why are my health insurance rates going up? Are PPO networks, large PPO networks, a good idea? Is my broker negotiating my renewal a good thing? On the commercial side, let's talk about risk. What will happen if I don't manage a specific... Guys, these are the things they think about. Create content around the questions they're asking. Literally imagine they're going to Google and they're typing in a question. What would they ask? Create that content. Because that is searchable content. To the point that if they were to go plug that question in a YouTube channel or a Google page, you might show up. Think about that. Imagine a prospect who plugs in a question in a platform like Google and your website pops up. If you have a YouTube channel, your YouTube channel pops up. If you had a post on your LinkedIn profile that talked about it, your profile pops up. You want to talk about creating name recognition? Stop talking about the things you want to talk about and start answering the questions they actually have. That's searchable content. This is one so many in the insurance industry struggle with because the perception is I have got to create content that makes me look smart. So I don't want to create the basics because that stuff is boring. Everybody knows about that. Here's the problem with that thought process. It's boring to you because you talk about it every day. It's boring to your peers because they talk about it every day. But is it boring to your prospects? Could it actually help your prospects? Could it actually empower your prospects? That's all that matters. And I know too many advisors who are too afraid to put out basic content because you're afraid of what your peers are going to think. But all that matters is what your prospects think. A little known tip I give everybody who works with us on their LinkedIn strategy is performance over popularity. If you want to create content for a platform like LinkedIn, your job is not to talk to your buddies. It's to talk to your prospects. You're here to perform. You're not here to become popular. That's all that matters. And it's not sexy content, but it's content that works. So I want you to think about what topics, what questions might my prospects be asking right now, and how can I answer them? And that's the content you should be creating if you want to create searchable content. Now, the other fear people have when they think about creating searchable content, well, Andy, I don't know if I want to be educating my competition. I hear you, but here's the reality. He or she who educates the most wins the most today. Enough said. He or she who educates the most wins the most today. If I see you every day or every week on a platform like LinkedIn, I get emails from you, you're hosting webinars, whatever they might be, and you are the one who is constantly educating me, you're the one I'm going to think of when it comes time to buying. Now, here's another reason why content is so important. When you meet a prospect for the first time, or your prospect first becomes aware of you, their mindset is probably over here somewhere. They're not quite sure what their problem is yet. They don't even know if they have a problem. They're happy with their broker. They may not even think about they may not even be thinking about moving. And for them to hire you, you need their mindset to be over here. And this is the gap. They're over here right now. You need them here. Now, if the only time you get to shift the mindset is when you meet with them, it's going to take a long time to shift their mindset. That is why the sales cycle in the insurance industry is extremely long these days. However, if you have content you're constantly pumping out there, and your content is shifting their mindset before they ever meet you, by the time they meet you, guess what? They're shifted. They're bought in. Heck, they may even have reached out to you. Now moving them through that pipeline is a whole heck of a lot easier, isn't it? That's why content is important. You have to find a way to shift your prospect's mindset before they actually meet you. Educational content is the best way to do it. That is what we refer to as searchable content. All right, trend number 4. This is the one that I get a lot of resistance on. You need a YouTube channel. Yes, you do. Now, let me explain why. I know there are plenty of agencies, bigger consulting firms in this industry that simply will not allow people to have YouTube channels. I understand it. I respect it. However, I'm going to challenge it. The reason you need a YouTube channel is not to become a YouTube sensation. It is not to create viral videos. It is simply to leverage a platform that is now the second largest search engine in the world, only to its parent, Google. That's why you need a YouTube channel. If you're going to create video content, because trend number 1 is video is still king, you need a YouTube channel to put it somewhere. There's nothing better than to have a library of videos that you could reference in your prospecting, you could drive prospects to, and let them come learn from you. By the way, setting up a YouTube channel takes 10 minutes. And knowing it is the second largest search engine in the world, I hope you recognize why it might be important. Now, I get it. You think YouTube is for the 13-year-olds who are trying to become famous. I understand. But I will tell you, there is more educational content. The reason I have Complete Game Consulting today is simply because for 3 years straight as an advisor, I studied educational content on YouTube. How to create better marketing, how to create social media content, how to use LinkedIn. Everything I teach today, I've learned from my years of studying YouTube videos. Imagine now, instead of me studying others, they're studying you. They're learning from you. This is one of the easiest platforms to use, set up, upload videos. So if you're going to leverage videos to create successful content this year, it would be a very wise idea to have a YouTube channel. Your agency should have a YouTube channel. Because remember, it is nothing more than a search engine. When people go to YouTube, Google, and they plug in questions they may have around topics like health insurance and commercial insurance and risk management, wouldn't it be cool to have your YouTube channel pop up? You see, here's what happens in the psychology of searches. When prospects or we as humans go to search engines and we plug certain questions in, or we look up certain things, and these websites pop up, whether it's somebody's YouTube channel, somebody's LinkedIn profile, a website, some company's website, those folks instantly have credibility with us. Because if they're the first things that popped up, my inherent reaction is, well, they must be the go-to experts. So imagine a prospect plugging something in and your LinkedIn profile pops up, a YouTube channel pops up, your agency's website pops up. You're actually creating instant credibility with that prospect. You don't even need to be the smartest one in your market, but you're going to have the credibility. You're going to be the perceived go-to expert. So key. Now, I know this one comes with a little, I'm not so sure about this, Andy, but YouTube channels are here to stay. They're not going away. You should be leveraging them. I'm also going to put this out there while I talk. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions you have as we go through these 5 trends. If you just joined us, let me review them quickly. Number 1, video is still king. You should be trying to leverage video content. Number 2, be authentic, be real in your content. Just show up as you. This is how you build a personal brand. Personal brand is nothing more than a reputation. Show up as you. That is the key piece here. Number 3, create searchable content. You don't need to create viral videos. Every piece of content does not need to be a home run. Just create content your prospects are looking for. Number 4, you need a YouTube channel. It is the 2nd largest search engine in the world, and this is where your prospects are going to look for things. Number 5, broaden your reach by going narrow. What do I mean by that? The best advisors in the insurance industry are not advisors who are out selling everything. They are not out pitching to prospects, we can take everybody and we serve everybody because we solve all problems. Those advisors and agencies are caught in the noise because that is what every agency is saying today. What you want to think about is, how do you go the opposite direction? How do you become known for very few things? Who is your target audience? It is not anybody willing to say yes to you. Who is your target prospect? We teach, one of our modules we teach here at Complete Game is our identifying your ideal prospect brand identity. And it asks 3 very important questions. Who are you going after? What are you saying? And where are you saying it? Who are you going after? What are you saying? And where are you saying it? There are very few prospects that are actually a good fit for you, believe it or not. But I want you to think about what you want to become known for. What is it you do as well as anyone in the market, in your market? And go find the people who are a fit for it. I know advisors, friends of mine, who sell nothing more than a health insurance captive. So they have gotten so clear about who is the best fit for that health insurance captive, and that's all they go sell. They go find prospects who are a fit for it. And you know what? Some of these guys are selling $1 million a year in new revenue. They're not out pitching. We can do HSAs. We can do compliance. We can do HRAs. We can do this. We can do labor. No. They know exactly what they're good at. They go out and pitch it to the market to see who's the best fit for it, and they become known as the go-to expert for it. So I challenge you this year. Quit trying to become known for everything. You're not just a health insurance advisor. You're not just a commercial risk advisor. What do you guys do best? What does your team do best? Become known for very few things. Because when it comes to identifying an ideal prospect and creating content for them, Here is the secret. Probably giving giving away too much today, but you're getting the benefit of it. You and I have been taught how to identify a prospect demographically. How big are they? Where are they located? How many employees do they have, right? That's not the gold of content. When you build lead lists, whether a lead list is an email list or your LinkedIn connections, you can only build lists via demographics. You can't filter a list any other way. But where the gold is if you understand the psychographics of your ideal prospect. How do they think? What do they believe? What do they stand for? How do they make decisions? What are their hobbies? Where do they go hang out? What do they love? What is it about them that makes them unique? If your content focuses on the psychographics, you're going to pull out the right prospects who are the psychographic fits. If you go look at your favorite clients today, they are not your favorite clients because of their demographics. There has never been an advisor who has said to me, Andy, my favorite client is ABC Manufacturing. The owner's a jerk. He treats me like crap. We have very different views about insurance, but man, I love working with this guy because he's a machine shop. Nobody's ever said that. The reason you love them is because they stand for certain things. They believe in certain things. They make decisions a certain way. They treat you a certain way. And God dang it, pardon my language, guess what? They're aligned with you. They believe things you believe. They stand for things you stand for. That's a psychographic fit. That's who you want to go find with your content. This is why I'm telling you guys, when I say be real, be authentic, stand for something in your content this year. I create a lot of content I know people don't like, but if they don't believe in it or like it, they're probably not a good fit for me. This is why broadening your reach by going narrow is so important. Go find those few people who love what you do, make them clients, and you will have the best book of business ever. If you really look at how many wins you need to change your career, it's not as much as you think. Go find those people that believe what you believe, stand for what you stand for, make decisions the way you do. Just have a belief system like you, and you are going to find your best clients. Questions. Evan, is it okay to reuse content, whether it be a post that you turn into a video? How often would you suggest doing this? Great question. Absolutely okay, Evan, to reuse content. In fact, I would urge people to do it because it's a great way to ensure the content creation process is not overwhelming. If you repurposed or reused content every couple months, nobody would know. The LinkedIn feed, all the feeds of the social media platforms are too busy for people to remember what you posted a couple months ago. So absolutely, man, reuse it as often as you can. Save yourself time. It creates consistency of content. But yes, you can absolutely reuse it every couple months. Lyle, Facebook pages, Instagram, or stick with LinkedIn and YouTube. Great questions. We use Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube. I will tell you, I have yet, unless I'm unaware of this, I have yet to actually generate a lead from Instagram. And I have been posting on Instagram every day for 3 years. So my belief is this. Most of you that are joining today's live, thank you for doing it. You're in the B2B space, business to business, right? You might be selling Medicare and maybe you're in the B2C space. If you are in the B2B space, which is 99% of you, LinkedIn, YouTube is the only places you need to be. And I'd say even just LinkedIn, if you really, but I'm a big proponent of YouTube, but as far as social media platforms, LinkedIn is where you need to be. Now, if you sell individual products like Medicare, individual insurance, things like that, I would definitely leverage a platform like Facebook because you're looking for older, senior citizens, age 65 plus, they're all on Facebook. But for the rest of you in the B2B space, LinkedIn is where you need to be. Just focus most of your efforts there. Andy speaks great truth. I really have been focused on the psychographics and have secured much better and more meaningful meetings. Sweet. Whoever that is, I can't tell who you are, but thank you. Rachel, do you have an opinion on LinkedIn Live versus LinkedIn audio events? Great question. I'm going live to you on video. I like lives because you see me. I know some people are podcasters. If I have a podcast myself, personally, Rachel, I would prefer video just so you can, I think a lot of people are visual learners. So you're learning from me as I wildly move my hands here. To me is more effective. However, I'm going to tell you, whatever way you go, especially if you're not doing either one today, is going to be better than what you're doing today. If you would rather lean into LinkedIn audio, that's fine because people still can learn from you. And it's a way to get a message in front of a lot of people at one time. I personally just have not used LinkedIn audio yet, simply because I have a podcast. So I don't really leverage it because I already have an audio format I use, but I think it could be effective because remember, the whole goal is exponential awareness. You just want to get one message in front of a lot of people at one time. I think LinkedIn audio, I might be wrong. This was their way to probably combat when Clubhouse became a big thing and everybody was jumping on these calls on Clubhouse to, basically you're joining conference calls with people around the world. That was their way to combat that a little bit, but I just haven't leveraged it. And I'm not saying that's right. I've done it more. I haven't done it more because I have a podcast. So here's where I want to wrap up with this, guys. This all has a punchline. If you guys just realize, think about video being king, whether you create videos, pictures, audio, articles, showing up as the real authentic version of you, which I mean includes sharing opinions, standing for something, right? You want to find the people who are attracted to you. You create searchable content. Again, that's not the viral content. That's not the sexy content. It's the stuff that's going to help your prospects learn. Branch out and create a YouTube channel as a place to house your video to be more searchable. And then broaden your reach by really honing in on who the best fit for you is and going and speaking to them. Don't try to speak to the audience, the market in general. The easiest way to get lost in the noise is to try to speak to the market in general. The best way to stand out is to go, if you are this person who thinks about this, believes in this, looks like this, I'm for you. If you focus on that, that is going to be your most successful approach. Now, here's the key. The question becomes, how do you develop a game plan to use content? And I'm going to share a really quick strategy for you. I haven't given this a name yet. We're building this, but I call it our content to convert triangle. If you would just take the approach that your goal is to create one video a week. Let's start there. One video a week. It's going to be 3 minutes long. I'm going to try to keep this as simple as I can. One video, 3 minutes long. You could create your entire marketing strategy for the entire year. Now, not including cold calling and anything else you might do, but as far as exponential awareness goes, one video, 3 minutes every week could literally be your entire marketing strategy. How? Well, if you pick topics that you think your prospects want to learn, you create the video, you post it on LinkedIn. You now have a LinkedIn post. You could take that video and transcribe it, right? There's plenty of transcription services online, literally turning your video into an article. You now have an article. You could post that article on LinkedIn. I don't care if it's the same topic, doesn't matter. Remember, some people like to read, some people like to watch. The beautiful thing about videos on LinkedIn now is they give you the ability to add captions, which they did not have in the past. Are they 100% accurate? No, they're not, but they're captions. Most people watch video with the sound off, believe it or not. But now with one video, you've got a video and you've got an article. Now you could take that video and upload it to YouTube. If you got a channel, now you got the same video on YouTube. That's a third platform. 3 pieces of content from one video. LinkedIn post, LinkedIn article, YouTube. Now you take that video and you put it into an email you send out to your prospects. Again, the goal of the email is not to sell, it's to educate. 4 pieces of content. Now, if you had the ability to control what goes on your company's website, and I know some of you don't, you could upload that video to a library on your website. 5 pieces of content. Oh, by the way, your web developer can easily link your YouTube video from the YouTube channel to your website. That is super easy. So now you got 5 pieces of content from one video every week. And think about if you did that week after week. If I were one of your prospects, I see the video on LinkedIn every week. I'm reading, or I see the article every week. I now get an email from you on the same topic with your video. Your videos on your website, your videos, you are going to create exponential awareness with creating 1 3-minute video every week. That's it. Bruce, you asked, if you don't use video as a primary content creation tool, are you leaving a lot on the table, especially with LinkedIn? It's all about connecting, and there's no better way to connect than face-to-face. Preaching to the choir. No, Bruce, great question. I am very biased. I understand. Video, I believe, is the best tool. It changed my career. It is what helps us grow the way we're growing here at Complete Game, is because we're giving you an opportunity every day to learn from us, and you actually are seeing me every day. That's why I'm such a big believer. Now, I have a client right now. She does not do videos. She set up the creator account, because you can turn the creator mode on LinkedIn. I'm not going to get into that right now. But if you turn your creator mode on, you can actually create a LinkedIn newsletter. All she does is write articles through the newsletter feature. She has about 2,000 subscribers now. And that article goes out every single week. She is generating a lot of business off those articles. Because here's the beautiful thing about the creator mode and the LinkedIn newsletters. When people subscribe to your newsletter, if their email contact info and their profile is accurate and up to date, they actually get an email in their inbox notifying them that your newsletter just went out. So she's killing it, Bruce, with email. Doesn't create video. So do you have to do it? No. I think is the quickest way to create a relationship with a prospect. I really do. It's the quickest way to create that likability and that credibility. So my challenge to you guys today as we wrap up, we got 7 minutes left. For those who have stuck around, thank you. I'm going to share something real quick here in a minute. As we dive in, we're almost done with Q1 of 23. It's hard to believe. My question to you is, what are you doing to lean into content this year? Doing this day after day after day isn't as effective as it used to be, guys. I don't care who tells you it, what people say, it is not effective as it used to be. You cannot argue that. What else are you doing to grab your prospects' attention? Remember, you got to shift their mindset. And the best way to do that is educate them through content. It is that simple. So here's what I want to offer you guys. Every one of you are sitting on LinkedIn right now. All right. If you want to leverage this opportunity, if you don't, no harm, no foul. If you're good, awesome. If you want to set up a free strategy call with me or somebody on my team, I want you to go to my profile, because hopefully most of you are connected to me. Send me a message. Be like, dude, I want to set up a strategy call with the team. Guys, this will change your career. I promise you. It has changed mine. I preach. The reason I teach this stuff with as much passion as I do is because it changed my career. Hell, it changed my life. The number one compliment we get from clients is when they look at us in the eye, when they're now putting content out, they're getting results, they're being their real version of themselves, they're being authentic, is when they look at me in the face and they say, you know what, man? Thank you for making this career fun again. There is not a better feeling when you're prospecting, putting your personality into your prospecting, and it's 100% you. We spend way too much time in this industry trying to leverage somebody else's strategy, somebody else's script, and it's not you. There's one thing your competition can never replicate from you. You and your story. That's why you have to lean into this. Last questions. Fantastic. Wendy, how many educational versus personal posts do you suggest a week? Great question. Lean into a little education more than personal. There's no perfect formula. But if you were to post every single day, once a day, 5 times a week, I'd say go 3 educational, 2 personal. But remember, the goal is likability, credibility. If you just post personal nonstop, all you're doing is creating likability. If you just post educational nonstop, all you're doing is credibility. Got to have a mix. So Wendy Bauer, 3-2-1 system. For every 6 pieces, 3 educational, 2 personal, 1 call to action. There you go. Love that. Well, guys, that's all I got today. I hope you guys found this informative. Thank you for letting me talk for an hour. I know I like to talk. I apologize. But I'm serious. If you are not clear on this right now, go send me a message on LinkedIn and say, dude, I need help. I want to set up a call because, guys, I'm not trying to oversell this. This has changed my life. I know how many of our clients, it has changed their lives, their careers. It can happen for anybody. You just got to want it bad enough. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Any more questions, follow up with me. Otherwise, have an amazing afternoon. Lean into that content. The world needs to hear your story. Peace.